Someone sits down to the table. Chuck Asbell and his model and buddy Casey, they're with Mid-Georgia Ambulance. They're here to show you how to save a person's life. And really, this is not a joking matter because it could easily happen to anybody.
Very easily happen.
Yeah.
And it's something that we teach in our CPR courses because it is so important. It's something that can happen very easily. First thing you want to do if you have someone that's in a choking situation is you want to confirm that they are actually choking, that they don't have just part of something in there, that they actually are completely choking. What we call a partial or full occlusion, which means half of the airway is blocked or the full airway is blocked.
Because I would imagine they're scared, but they think they can get through it. This really isn't happening, that kind of thing. So Casey would probably be doing those choking things.
And that is the international sign for choking. Most people don't realize that, but hands up around the throat, international sign for choking. No air moving at all is what we're looking for. So no coughing, not being able to grunt, not being able to moan, because that's actually moving air.
So Casey can't talk to us. That's how a good sign.
Exactly. Casey can't talk at all, and usually you'll see, the lips are wanting to start turning blue. So what we're going to do, the most important thing that you want is you're going to find the belly button, find the navel. You're going to ball up your fist right above the navel. Take your other hand and you're going to cup it like that, and then you're going to pull back and up, and I'm not going to do it to her really hard because it really, it does hurt.
But you do want to use some force here.
You do. You need to use some force, and you need to pull back and up as hard as you can, okay?
As hard as you can, okay.
Yes. You really want to use some force. And what you want to is you see how my chest is directly against her back. You don't want to bend or anything. You want to actually, get that full contact and get good force up and back.
Navel is the key.
Navel is the key. Find the belly button and go right above it.
Okay.
And you're going to pull back and up. And you're going to do that until the person either the airway clears and something comes out, or until they go unresponsive. And if they go unresponsive, you're in the perfect position. You can catch them, and you can just take them straight down to the floor, because at that point in time is when you're going to begin your CPR.
Well, and that's you bring up a lot of questions there. Number one, it's going to take more than once to possibly do this.
It could take, half a dozen or a dozen times for it to actually work. You have to build that pressure to get that momentum for that food to come out.
And once again, this is not a funny situation, but you have to think, boy, the relatives are going to be crazy. They're thinking that you're hurting the person, and in the midst of all this, you need to call 911.
You do need to call. You need to send someone to call 911. Go ahead and get us on the way. Even if we were able to clear, the airway, even if you can get them to stop choking, there is the possibility that they may have sucked something into their lungs that actually went past the point where they choked. And if they get something in the base of their lungs, then you're looking at pneumonia, sickness, infection.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah, that's not the kind of stuff you want to deal with.
Just so you have this information, especially as we're heading into the holidays, what is the time frame before somebody goes unresponsive, and how long before you're really in trouble, before you may have to start CPR?
You've got about 3 minutes, 2-3 minutes. It varies from person to person and how much they panic. You got to think about how long can you hold your breath. Most people can't hold their breath for more than, 50 seconds, 50, 55 seconds. So, it depends on how bad the person panics, how quickly they're going to burn up their oxygen. So, you've only got a few minutes before they could go unresponsive on you.
All right, great information. Don't forget, navel, use force. And Casey, thanks so much for being. This is the second time that Casey stood in like this, so we sure do appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you don't have to go out on these calls.
Hope so.